Welcome to Excel Tips. My name is Neale Blackwood, and in this episode we're going to look at how we can create heat maps and some other visualizations in Excel. Now, the data we're looking at now is sales data for the 23-24 financial year. It's got sales on all of the days, and what we want to do is analyze that as a whole year. And so what we've got is our report here, which is using formulas. So each of these cells has a formula in it to bring in the sales for that day. Obviously, some of the days in this grid are illegal, like the 31st of September, and so they're shown as a black. But basically, the darker the blue, the higher the sales. And if there's any white cells, then they're the low sales day. So we can see that there are more darker colors in the second half of the year. So let's say we needed to hone in on the top 12 sales days and the bottom 12. We can use another type of visualization. Heat maps in Excel are called color scales, and I'll show you how to build this after we have a look at the other examples. But if we need to look at the top 12, there is a built-in conditional format to do that. And so in this case, we've got the top 12 in blue. Now, these are not in color scales. They are just full normal color. And so here we can see that the top 12 sales all occurred from the 1st of October onwards. And the bottom sales, they're a little bit more evenly distributed throughout the year. So I have used randomly generated data, so there aren't a lot of insights to pick up from this, but we can see that March and April were the big sales months for this year in terms of the highest sales days. Unfortunately, the top 12 and bottom 12 conditional formats are not interactive. And so what I've done is I've also created an interactive version. So what we've got here is the same display, but it's using an interaction. So we've got 12 at the moment, but I could change that to 6 and it will update. And I'll show you how we can create that as well. Okay, so let's have a look at, we'll start off with a blank grid here. This does have the formulas. I'm not going to go into detail about these formulas. We are using a combination of dynamic arrays and also a formatted table, so structured references. Both of those topics have been covered in previous articles, so you can do a search for dynamic arrays or formatted tables on the Neale Blackwood website. So each of these cells has the sales day amount for that day, and it's hidden at the moment. So I'll remove the formats here. So I've got a little button that'll do that for me. And so now if I make this column a bit wider, we can see that these do have the values in there. So I'll undo that. So what I'm going to do is show you how to hide these values. I notice too that the illegal days are displaying as a blank cell. They're not blank, but they're displaying as a blank cell. Now what we want to do is hide these values. So I'm going to hold Control and press the number 1. That opens up the Format Cells dialog. I want custom, and in the type, I'm going to type in 3 semicolons in a row, and that is going to hide our values. There we go. I'm going to add grid lines to that while I'm here. And now I'll show you how to apply the conditional format that creates the heat map. Now, heat maps in Excel are called color scales. Now, it sort of looks like we've got about 12 options here. In effect, there's 4. There's sort of 2 by 2. The first 2 are high is good and low is bad. So that's your sales or your profits. And then the second option is low is good or high is bad. And that is your things like costs or your golf score. And then the other 2 options relate to colors. So you can either use 3 colors, which is, if I show you that one, you can see that's very bright. So that's got the typical red is bad, green is good. And whilst I mention that, I should also mention color blindness. Color blindness affects about 1 in 12 men and about 1 in 100 women, so it is a man thing. The typical traffic light green and red numbers are not great for colorblind people. This option here is that high is bad, and so it's red. And then we can go down to just single colors. So this is what I prefer, and we're going to use this one. I'll actually use this one and change it to blue. I prefer blue. In terms of safe colors for color blindness, blue, orange, and gray are the safe colors. You could also use another color in the two. So you could use, in this case, yellow and green. I prefer to have sort of the single color. It's easier on the eye, put it that way. So I'm going to click that one, and I'm just going to go and edit that. So to edit the conditional format, if you click the conditional formatting drop down and use manage rules, you can then access that rule. So I'm going to double click to open it, and I'm just going to choose the blue. Now on the screen here, this looks pink. That doesn't display, so I don't know why it shows pink here. In conditional formatting, when you change this, make a change in this dialog, it doesn't impact the sheet until you click OK or apply. Okay, so just a heads up on that. Click OK. Now, unfortunately, because I've got a blank cell for these illegal days, it looks like they're low sales days. They're in fact no sales days because they don't exist. So what I want to do is change those to black. So I'm going to select the range again. I'm going to click New Rule under the conditional formatting drop-down. And the second option, and cell value is equal to, and the equal sign and the double quotation marks are what we're entering. Under Format, I'm going to select black as the color under the fill color. And click OK. And OK again. And there we go. So that is the heat map, and that is the way you can build it in Excel using color scales. As I mentioned, being able to identify, let's say, the top 12 or the bottom 12 can also be useful. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to start with this again. This time I'm going to use top and bottom rules, and I'm going to go top 10 items. Now, even though it says top 10, it is more flexible than that. I'm going to click the up arrow to get to 12. I'm going to choose a custom format. I'm going to use the blue again and click OK. Now this is not scaled. The color is not scaled. It's a solid blue here. So these are the top 12. And as we can see, they are all after the 1st of October. I'm going to add another top and bottom, but this time I'm going to go bottom 10 items. And again, tick on those. So I'll change the color again. I'll just make that an orange. Click OK, and there we go. So there's the top 12 top and bottom rules. Oh, I need to put the, that's right, I need to do the black as well. Let's do that. New rule, equal to, equals, double quotes, and do the black. The top and bottom rules aren't interactive. That interface doesn't allow you to link back to the spreadsheet. So what we can do is we can create a formula-based conditional format. So let's see how to do that. To make this work, I need some helper cells, which I've got over on the top right here. So I'm going to have an entry cell for 12, and I'm going to use the large function. So the large function allows you to return a specific position number in values. It's a little bit like the max function. The max function finds the maximum, but the large function allows you, in this case, to specify you want to find the 12th highest number. And so you just give it the range, tell it the number, and it returns the 12th highest number in this case. And there's also a small function which finds the 12th smallest number. And so having those two helper cells on the spreadsheet allows us to interact with the conditional formats. Let's see how we create those. We're going to create a, under conditional formatting, new rule, the second one from the top again. This one's greater than or equal to, and then just click on AK2, and then I'm going to specify that as blue and click OK. Notice that these ones have come up blue. We'll fix those in a minute. And new rule, cells that contain less than or equal to, and this is going to be AL2, and we'll go with the orange and click OK. And we still need to fix our black ones. So this one is the same, equals to equals, double quotes, and black. And there we go. Now this one is interactive. So if I change that to 6, so all of the top 6 sales days were from March onward. So conditional formats allow you to produce visualizations that can be useful when you are analyzing a large amount of data. In this case, we've got 366 sales days that are analyzed, and we can then add the data visualizations to help us understand the sales days a little bit better. This can be useful for things that are, say, seasonally driven, or even for special sales days. So example, Christmas, Easter, those sort of special events that might drive your sales. I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching.